Standalone weekend that continues on Sunday as we go to the Ferris Cape, Western Cape, where we have a 10-race program. We certainly are reaping the benefits in a funny kind of way of all those meetings that we lost, not only here on the Highveld, but also on the coast, be it KZN or the Western Cape. So race 2 will be the first leg of the bipod. 12:30 is the off-time. A man who is certainly in a very, very good form, and I'll say that ad nauseum because these days when they do go away, they seem like they'll never come back. But for you, long may it continue, Ms. Marie.
Thank you, sir. It's good seeing you again.
Thank you so much.
Opening leg of the
Scratch,
bipod.
by the way, is the 4 Lady Penny.
Thank you. I've gone with numbers 2 and 15. How do you pronounce number 15?
Number 15, let's see if you're going to try Dumouriez.
Dumouriez.
Uh-huh.
Lovely debut. Now, the last race up the Kenilworth Straits, JP decided to stick on the outside on Champagne Kisses, and he won. So, yeah, obviously Dumouriez is drawn towards the outside. I don't know if Alder's going to do the same thing and stick to his stations. But there is a line of form between the favourite and Dumouriez because She's My World ran second in that race behind Match That. And on that occasion, she was rumoured to be in need of that run. So she would have come on for that run. And Dumouriez got within 3 lengths of her on debut. So a very interesting race. They're drawn wide apart from each other. I've got one on the inside, one on the outside. I think that should suffice.
Okay, and I'm just looking at the breeding of the 6 Beach Verse. And Beach Verse, well, we know the mother so well. I don't see too much happening as far as the 6 is concerned. It's actually in double figures, maybe towards race 5.
Yeah, according to the comments in the front of the computer form, she will need the experience and further.
Thank you so much, Ms. Marie. 2 and 15, 1 and 2. Then there's that banker in leg 3, which is race number 4. And that would be the 3 in that bipod, which has an outlay of 96 Rand. Number 3 in race 4 is Air Raid. Turf Talk Syndicate Maiden Plate over the 1600 meters. We'll see the start of the PA on Sunday at Hollywood Bets Kenilworth. It's off at 1:05. Right now we've got a field of 9 carded, and it goes without saying over the last couple of meetings, even if you haven't been following religiously, the Ricky Maingard stable seem to have really hit a very good run of form. And on form, rightly so, Tunguska is expected to be in the shake-up.
Yeah, he's going to get it right soon. Hopefully soon. He deserves to. Very consistent. Like you say, the stable's on fire. Got a good draw. He's racing fit. There's really no negatives with regards to his chances. Form line, the horse called Jet 01 came out and won from there. And he happened to finish 3rd behind Tunguska. So he goes into my play. In the PR, I backed him up with number 1, Exalted Love. Now, I don't know if you recall this, Dan, but apparently she ran second she won the Zim Oaks and she won the Castle Tankard.
Aquina.
Yeah.
Aquina was that, who's the young blonde lady who took over from the late Neil Bruss as she was his assistant?
Okay.
Yeah, her name just escapes me. She was champion trainer.
Okay.
For a few years, yeah.
Well, obviously, there's a lot of stamina on the dam side, and he's stepping up to 18 mile. He is obviously a 2-year-old, so he's got that 4 kg allowance, and I do believe he's going to race closer to the pace this time round because he's going to strip fitter. So, I mean, many people are going to be bankering number 2, Tunguska. I don't blame them. I'm just playing the safe route. Okay,
so it is a 1 and a 2. That is the place accumulator has confirmed. The 3 once again does feature as a banker in race number 4, the leg 2, and that is Air Raid in those very famous looks of Mr. Marsh Shirtlift. 96 Rand, off time, 13:05 to that first leg of the PA race 3. 8 runners set to face up for that first leg of the Pick 6. We leave the maiden ranks as we go into a B stakes where the benchmark is 101 and below. It's over the 1400 meters. And looking at the favoritism, most likely to be with the 3 Air Raid in the colors of Mr. Marsh Shirtlift, Candice Bass Robinson, and Alder de Meyer. Now, as far as the 6 Green Garnet is concerned, Mr. Marie, I'm not saying it's part of your equation or not, but the suggestion there, win, unplaced, win, and 5th win. So would you be hesitant?
Listen, I haven't included him.
Yeah.
I think if he gets handy enough and he settles, he's capable.
Yes.
But if he gets behind runners, he tends to overrace. Personally, I think there's two lovely, lovely horses in here that are going to go through the divisions and going to win numerous races, and you can follow them with confidence. Number 3, Air Raid, and number 5, Please Be True. Now,
Okay.
obviously, they ran in the same race last time out. Air Raid disappointed. Please Be True ran above expectations because the word was he had missed a lot of work
Yes.
and he was in need of it. Just watch him go down to the start. I've seen him sweat up in the past. But that run should have certainly brought him on. Richard now reunites with him. You know, he's yet to hit the board with him from 4.
Yes.
But you can't read into that. You've got a champion jockey aboard.
Yes.
Number 3, Air Raid. In my mind, flat second run after arrest. He's now getting the right trip. He's having his peak run. And he beats him and he's half a kilogram better off. So I have to stick with Air Raid. So 3 from 5, but like I say, be with these horses and follow them. You'll make money.
All right. 3 and 5, 4 and 5, then horses, and then we taper down to 3 horses for that penultimate leg. And in race number 9, where the pick 6 cents, we've just got 2 horses. The numbers are 3 and 8. Outlay of 720 Rand, at the 3 being Night Tiger, and the 8, the US of A, who certainly is in A-class form. Well, it is the once raced Happy Verse. That is the number 5 who tops the boards in race 5, the first leg of the first jackpot. And that is to be partnered by Mr. Andrew Fortune, who was aboard winning Vercingetorix's debutante out of a Giant's Causeway mare, Song of Happiness, Justice Nate Saddles. And it's once again a luminary bunch of owners, and of course bred at the Dragonstein stud. Right. Were you impressed with Happy Verse, and is this another one that you would put in that category of going through the divisions?
Yeah, I mean, you have to be super impressed in that he won over 1,200. He's by Vercingetorix out of a Giant's Causeway mare. I think he's going to go ground. He's actually related to Bombers in the Sky, who's a stayer.
Yes.
So he could be anything, this horse. Yes, he is a 2-year-old and he's taking on some hard knockers over here, but he can certainly remain unbeaten. Had a look at his time, very slow. I think admittedly he did carry more weight than the horses that won on that day, but he finished, I think, 3 odd lengths behind Cityscape and 12 lengths behind Trip to Maputo. But yes, he, like I say, this horse certainly wouldn't surprise me if he won and he bolted up. Just backed him up with number 4 of here.
Firing on all
He has a horse
engines.
that's very, very fit and from a stable that's in cracking form. I don't believe he's a 1,200 meter or 1,100 meter horse. I think he's more a 1,400, and also he's much better around the bend, Cecil. So he's got one style of running and he's going to jump, and with that fitness on his side, he's going to probably go to the front. And if the favorite's green around the bend, he might get first run on him. So yeah, 4 and 5 for me.
All right, so that is the Crawford Drinks runner, who's coming down in that mare, trading back to that winning mark of 70. And once raced, a Happy Verse will make up that first leg of the jackpot, as was the case in leg 2 of that pick 680 Rand. That is how we start our first jackpot, and that is off with the running of race 5, and that is an off time of 14:15. All right, for the Crawford stable, this is their time in KZN, where the last 2 years that they've walked away victorious as far as saddening the winner of the big one. Can they do it again? Or Oriental Charm is then waiting 8 on 18 to renew their rivalry from the Met, which saw them finish first and second. Right, the Midway is represented the stable. Umklotwa, the stable rider, is aboard. He's been aboard the last 2, and they both ended up in a third, and it's a length and a half behind the winners then. Can Midway go 2 better and win the race? That's at around 33-10, easy to back.
He most certainly can. He's 2.5 kilograms better off with Count William. Obviously, Count William is more kind of drawn, and I thought he won with a bit in hand last time out with change of tactics. So it looks like they're going to push forward. I can see him going back to back, and I can see Midway featuring too. Number 5, Baton Rouge. I think Pit Boytz's stable's turned. He's having winners recently again, and you always need to follow stables in form. Yeah, you got a horse who's come back to form. You can see he went a little bit off the boil, but he's showing signs of life. And last time out with the apprentice, Plike is up. He just found 1 to good. Now, with the booking of Richard Fourie, it speaks volumes. So I think he's ready to win again. Then you got the poor old English Mistress. I mean, she took forever and a day to finally crack it. But strictly at the weights, I mean, have a look at the best weighted column. Herself and Summer Night City are joint best in. I got a concern with the shorter run-in because she took quite some time last time to get up. But at the weights, one has to include her. Many a times we've seen horses battle, and when they finally crack it, they tend to go on with it. And I wouldn't be shocked if she fell into that category. Difficult race. You can see in my perms, I went all of numbers 1, 4, 5, 7, and 10. However, I'm not willing to go as many as that in the pick 3. I've gone with my top 3 selections.
All right, a 2, 4, and a 5 English Mistress, the 4 Count William, and the 5 Baton Rouge would be the ones for this D Stakes over the 1800 meters, first leg of the latest pick 3. That is race number 6. All right, we've got a features race number 7. It's over a distance of 1800 meters. It's the Storm Space Stakes. It's a listed, and looking at the betting or betting guide for that 7th race on the afternoon. It is a decent sized 7-runner field, and Beware the Bomb is a co-favorite with Time for Love. And that is looking at around 5 to 2, 33 to 10, and Better Bar those quoted runners. Right, so it is 1800 meters a trip. There is a form update, Mr. Marie. I could see from the corner of my eye you were going to ask me about the form update. It was a 25 to 2 that the 4 Lickety Split ran into third behind a certain Strawberry Thief, and that was over the distance of 4 Sundays, the Storm Space Stakes.
Yes, now most of the all the leading lights over here contested the Ladies' Mile last time out when Time for Love got the better of who is it? Beware the Bomb, Gold Poker Game, Knockout, and Fun Zone. Now, if you have a look at the weights, they're all exactly the same. There's no weight turnaround. So strictly on that, you're going to have to be leaning towards Time for Love. Stable's on fire, Gavin's on fire, gonna strip fitter. I mean, there's no negatives. Maybe many are gonna say second run after rest, but I wouldn't read too much into that. Beware the Bomb, when she came back after a rest, she was maybe above herself because she was doing it too hard. So if she settles in running, I can see her reversing the form. However, the one I'm leaning towards is the mare, the 5-year-old mare, Gold Poker Game. I think she's teed up for this race in that she's had a perfect preparation, and it being a small field, Cecil, this filly likes, or this mare likes to be given a chance. She won't have much ground to make up. So yeah, a 1 bet on number 5 Gold Poker Game for me. However, I'm not overly bullish.
Okay, this is the start of the second jackpot, but we're going to talk about bet on the nose here, and that is Gold Poker Game, and that is pretty easy to back at around 33 to 10, 4 to 1. And of course, if you are good enough to be aware of So Hot, So What, you can take that double and think you'll get a good price. All right, so the second of our features, another listed, this is the Pocket Power listed stakes. They go over the 19 of 50, as was the case with the preceding race, a renewal of rivalries of sorts. And of course, the much talked about horse that will not be making headlines because it is not going to be part of the headline seekers is the Garrix, whom I'm sure as a 4-year-old, if the connections are on the right mark, they will certainly have a champion on their hands. Garrix is in the Western Cape and renews rivalries with Otto Laken after just touching off Otto Laken by that 0.10 length. But there is that weight turnaround, Mr. Marie, and that is, let's just have a look. In fact, no weight turnaround, identical weight differential.
No, there is a weight turnaround.
Is there a turnaround? That was
1.5 kgs.
Yeah, 1.5. No, I thought I'd been seeing things. 1.5 kgs.
Yeah. On
They
paper,
said well, that wasn't Garrix's run. I haven't really seen a lot of Garrix. Was that right or wrong?
on paper, you're going to say Otto Laken's going to reverse the form. But let me tell you something. I don't like Otto Laken on the winter track.
Okay.
His form's not his best on the winter track, so I'm excluding him. Now, Garrix is very interesting. Like you said, if that wasn't his run, but wasn't it his run, or didn't he stay, or was he too close to the pace? You know, he's got such a turn of foot. So I actually like him switching to the winter track, the shorter running.
Okay.
I've got a sneaky suspicion they're going to ride him much more colder, because this was, you know, he's got nothing to follow through, and I think if there is something to pull him closer to the business end of the race, we'll see the best of him. However, the jury's out with regards to him. While me, if he's really a middle distance horse, or if he's a miler. So 1950, for that reason only, I haven't bankered him. I really think he's a top 1400 meter horse, but you know what, the connections obviously work with him on a daily basis, and they're of the opinion that he's going to get the trip. Like I said, I think he will be produced late this time around. You have to watch Mucho De Niro's run on that occasion when he was returning from a layoff. Cracking run. Like I say, I got a preference for Garrix switching to the winter track. Mucho De Niro, in my mind, takes a little bit longer to unwind. So I'm favouring Garrix to confirm that form with Mucho De Niro. And I think Magic Verse had excuses in his last start, and he, on the other hand, is having his peak run. So for that reason, I've chosen to go with an exacta box in this race. I think Magic Verse, being the best weighted, and Garrix being the improving 3-year-old sort he is, should send us to the winners queue to collect our dividends.
Right, and just one question. I thought there may be a mention from your learned lips. Billy Bowlegs was still keeping on the back burner. I see that rating slowly coming down. Now had the 4 or 5 runs in the Western Cape.
Yeah, I thought his penultimate start was cracking because he got left at the start. And last time I'd expected more from him, and he really just failed to deliver. I don't know. On form, he must be included, but I don't know if he's one to rely on at this stage. I mean, it has been 854 days.
It's a long time. Long time. All right, so that is race number 8. Mr. Marie suggesting the exacta 3 and 7, Magic Verse, and the highly talked about Garrix, race 8. Well, we did mention a couple of the names in this race because they were integral to one of the permutations that was suggested by Daryl, and they are namely number 3, Night Tiger, and number 8, US of A. US of A certainly on a good run, a second, and then a fluent win over Tough Terrain, who is in the race once again. That is Saddlecloth number 1. Right, Mr. Marie, race number 9. People are now looking to either get out of it, or they're now just awaiting to collect, so to speak.
Yeah, now the obvious choice has to be the US of A. This horse, in his 2 runs since returning from a layoff, he's done nothing but impressed. Obviously, they've sorted out his issues, and he's having his peak run. So everything points towards him, despite the turnaround in weights, confirming the form with Tough Terrain and the likes of Counter Attack and Night Tiger. However, he's at restrictive odds, so you're not going to get too rich backing him. So for that reason, I've chosen a horse who I believe was very unlucky in his last start. You know, Night Tiger with Morne Vinner, in the past, we've seen him allowed to stride and cause a few upsets when handy on the pace. And last time out, that wasn't the case. He didn't get a clean break. So I thought that he's better than that run on paper. And he did have excuses. I know it's hard to believe that he's going to reverse the form with the US of A, but I think he should finish in the money. So a nice swinger bet going into this race, numbers 3 and 8.
Yeah, well, I think the last named, the 8 US of A, has been very much a topical type of horse this week, especially the last couple of days. So you can just about get that evens if you can. And maybe it will be a very, very good weekend. Thank you so much to Mr. Marie. Thanks to Len, and thanks to Nino. That is a look at weekend racing.